Hello, it's David Clark here from DVC, and I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to set up and use a Blackmagic card inside of EDIUS 7. So here I am inside of EDIUS 7. If you're used to EDIUS 5 or 6 or 6.5, it actually looks pretty much the same. You could use some Blackmagic cards inside of EDIUS 6.5 for capturing, but you couldn't use them for playback. With EDIUS 7, basically they've completely integrated them, so a Blackmagic card works like any old Grass Valley card. So to set them up, come up here to Settings and go to System Settings. Open up the Hardware tab and you can see you've got Device Preset and you've got Preview Device. Device Preset is the capturing side of things. Preview Device is how you output. So I'll just quickly show you this because it's pretty obvious. As you can see, I've got two cards listed here, Basic Firewire and a Decklink card, which is a Blackmagic card called the 4K Extreme. The 4K Extreme is a card that basically does just about everything. They've got a whole variety of cards. They start off with a simple one that just does an HDMI and SDI output for about £100, and they go up to this 4K Extreme, which does just about every video size up to 4K, and is about £600. To get that going, simply just tick Decklink 4K, and that sets the output from EDIUS to come out through the Blackmagic card. If you click on the settings box over here, it'll bring you up a dialog box, and that will send out color bars to your TV. So that's the quickest way to check it's working. To be honest, I leave the rest of this as it is. You can see on the system settings you've basically got the append ancillary data, which, like it says, is a special thing for 10-bit projects, which I never use, and the stereoscopic settings, which obviously you only use if you're using a 3D or stereoscopic project. So mainly I only pop into there just to get up the color bars. Oh, I can see the color bars on the TV. Right, it's working. There are a couple of little tick boxes down here for preview. This little warning message one is a very simple thing they introduced in EDIUS 6.5. If you have generic OHCI set and you go into a high def project, you get this message popping up, which just tells you you can't see anything out through your generic OHCI. That tick box turns off the warning if you find it irritating. You notice I didn't get a warning when I chose Decklink because the Decklink can output from my project, which is a high def project. The pull down format, the only time I've ever had to use this is when I've been trying to output 3D projects and 24 frames a second, and for some reason my television hasn't quite got on with the output. Well, sometimes ticking that makes it work. Never had to use it if I'm doing something like 1920 1080i. Choose your output card and you don't get a picture. You could try that, it might make your television work. Generally I leave that unticked. Now you'll notice in all these Blackmagic settings there isn't anything saying am I coming out through component or composite or S-video or whatever. And that's because you set that up in a totally different place. You don't set that up inside of EDIUS. What you have to do is bring up a Blackmagic control panel. So get to it by going down to Windows, Control Panel, and then when you open up the control panel, I'm just going to stick it into small icons so I can see everything, you'll notice that here you've got the Blackmagic Design Control Panel. And that's how you control whether it's happening through S-video or composite or whatever. If I click on that, it then runs a program which has got lots of different settings for the Blackmagic card. Now on the output side, you can see it says up here Set Output, and if I click on the drop down box, you can see there's SDI, HDMI and component, or composite, or S-video. This particular card will be outputting through SDI and HDMI all the time, so I never really have to come to this if I'm just using either of those. I only have to come here if I'm trying to output through analog and it's not working. And it's probably not working because you haven't got the right thing selected. And you change it here. You don't change it inside of EDIUS, which is slightly different to EDIUS cards. It's just how Blackmagic cards work. Ideally, I wouldn't have to go hunting into the control panel every time I want to change those settings. And what I tend to do is actually stick a shortcut on the taskbar to let me see that. So if I go back to the control panel, what I like to do is I like to pin that to the taskbar. Now in Windows with most programs you can right click and say pin to taskbar. It doesn't work here. You can't pin that to the taskbar by right clicking on it. But if you double click on it to open it up and then come down to the taskbar where you can see it says Blackmagic, I can right click on that and say pin it to the taskbar. And now I've got the little Blackmagic icon there all the time, so I can easily get to it. You could also drag a shortcut out to your desktop.